Rich Offner here from Yakangler, and today I'm with Jeff Sherwood, who resides here in Michigan, though Jeff has lived all over North America, grew up in Toronto, Ontario, and also grew up part of your life in down south, started down south?
Kind of all over, but yeah, I lived in North Carolina and Florida and Texas and Canada.
Okay. How did you get started in kayak fishing?
Well, I started fishing late in life, like you. I didn't catch the bug till way past when most people do. Got a rod and reel and fell in love with fishing, and now that Fish Pro Shop has tens of thousands of dollars of my money. But I was living in North Carolina in the Outer Banks, and I ran a large chain of retail stores, and a couple of those stores were kayak dealers. Wilderness Systems, Hobie, a couple other name brand kayaks, and kayak fishing was really just starting. And I had a rep who wanted to sell me boats, and he took me out on the water. And the Outer Banks on the ocean side is some of the best fishing in the world, and on the sound side you catch speckled trout and drum and redfish, and I fell in love with it, and the rest is kind of history.
Well, you got a good diversified experience of fishing right off the bat.
Yep.
What is a tactic? Now that's a few years ago. What is a tactic you wish you would have learned early on that you know now?
I think the thing that, being around really talented anglers taught me at a very accelerated rate that I don't think most people do. It's not necessarily a tactic, but it's quality. Buying a quality fishing rod, buying a quality reel, quality line, a great kayak to fish out of. The difference in what I see people spending money on and wasting money. Obviously, if you're on a budget and you can't spend money, I understand. But if you can, don't cheap out on it. Buy the good stuff, because it really makes a difference. Just the sensitivity of a really good rod versus a cheap rod, as you know. And that's
Yes.
something I wished I hadn't spent the money on stuff that I really would never use again.
And after all, since we don't own power boats, we have to spend money on gas and insurance. That extra money can go towards good gear.
Exactly.
Your favorite target species?
Bass, no question. There's no, I love fishing for anything, and certainly if I'm gonna eat, I love fishing for walleye because I love the taste of it. I love speckled trout. I love the taste of it. Mahi, I've caught mahi, and even tuna. But bass fishing is where my heart is.
Largemouth or smallmouth?
Yes, absolutely. Either or.
Your most important safety tip fishing out of a kayak?
Obviously, you should always have a PFD on, and there really are no exceptions to that rule. PFD is it's the difference between you coming home and not coming home.
Agreed. Do you have a kayak fishing dream trip?
Yes, I have several. So one of them, really influential kayak angler, Robert Field, has done the Devil's River Canyon in Texas. That's right up there for a number of reasons, because the fishing's supposed to be spectacular, but you also paddle some class 2 and class 3 rapids, which I think would be a blast. I'd also, I'd like to fish somewhere where I could catch a large billfish, sailfish, marlin. That's on the bucket list for sure.
Interesting. What's your next planned big adventure? And I'm going to say for 2016, here we are, the first week of January. You must have something already planned.
I got a bunch. I really do. And obviously time is the thing that we fight. I have a lot of responsibilities with the job, the company that I run, and being a kayak buyer. But the thing that I'm looking forward to the most is the next Hobie Open on Kentucky Lake. Not anything to do specifically with Hobie, but because I fished with a lot of good friends. We fished there, a couple other pros that I know. I've fished that body of water now 4 or 5 times in tournament settings, so I start to feel like I even have a clue as to where the fish might be. And I love that vibe. That time of year, it's June. I really enjoyed myself so much at the last Hobie Open there. So
I'd have to agree. I'm looking forward to it myself.
yeah, but there are lots though. You said pick one.
The number one fishing specific tip that you would share with other kayak anglers or someone getting into the sport?
Confidence is the most powerful thing. I gave a lot of thought to what makes the sport special for me. I liken it to golf. Golf was my obsession for a long time, and I started thinking about the things that mirror golf. First of all, you can be battling the elements. When you're confident, the hole looks like it's a trash can. It's the same as when you're fishing confident. You could put any lure on and you're going to catch fish.
Yep.
So try to find the things that make you confident and build on them, and realize that your biggest adversary is right there.
Great tip. Great tip. Here's a good one for you. You're stranded on an island. You get one lure and one kayak. What are they going to be?
Well, the one lure, I mean, we're not talking soft plastics here. I just have one lure that I can tie on.
Obviously, that soft plastic's not going to last very long, so
Right.
you got to be thinking.
So a lure, I would have to say, would be a jerk bait. Some sort of a stick bait that in
Color?
sexy shad probably is probably the most universal. And kayak, it probably surprise you, but I would probably fish out of, on a desert island, a Thresher or the Kraken from Jackson, or a Revolution 16 from Hobie. Anything that's long and fast, that I can cover a lot of water, that I can get through the waves, because I'm going to have to be through the breakers. So all three of those boats one of them would be my choice. It wouldn't be a big stand-up boat like a Pro Angler or
You got to get by the surf.
tack.
You got to get by the
through
surf.
the surf. You
Yeah,
got to get through the
that's the key.
surf. So.
All right. Your favorite, you've been all over. Favorite body of water to fish?
I didn't fish the tournament. Actually, you were there recently in Toledo Bend, and I'll tell you that I want another shot at that. My favorite would have to be Lake St. Clair, because the fishing's the best in the world. But I really have my heart set on a 10-pound bass, and I know that Toledo Bend turns out more 10-pound bass than any place in North America. So I gotta say that's my best shot. So I want to go back there.
Yeah, I got to agree with you.
Yeah, it was fantastic.
We left them there, didn't we?
We sure did.
What change do you see? Okay, in your job as general manager of retail and a kayak buyer for Summit Sports here in the Midwest, the Great Lakes region, seeing how the South is about 10 years ahead of us in the sport, here near the Great Lakes in the Midwest, kayak fishing has really grown in the last year. We're seeing tournaments pop up all over. There's the Michigan Kayak Fishing Series, which is a number of small tournaments that will really help grow the sport in Michigan. And you and I, we both do the Border City Classic.
Yep.
What do you see as the changes in the next couple of years in growth and tournaments?
Well, obviously participation is going to continue to increase, and as participation increases at an incredible bell curve, the acceleration and the number of people that are getting into the sport, for all the reasons that we already know. It's affordable, it's green, it's fun, you get better fish, all those reasons are going to create participation. Participation is going to bring good and bad things to the sport. And when I say bad, I don't think it's necessarily, it doesn't have to be bad, but I think what's going to happen is it's going to grow, and more people are going to have to be aware of water safety and making sure that our sport stays a safe sport. So that's one thing I'd like to see, the American Canoe and Kayak Association do more training up here for water rescue and those sorts of things. I see the tournament world growing to where people are actually going to make a living at it. I think that right now you can have a lot of fun fishing in a tournament. You might leave with a kayak or even some cash. But I think in the very near future, you're going to see more of a FLW quality tournament world out there, where people are going to actually be able to make a living. And I think you're going to see, because Michigan, and I don't know if you know this, but Michigan is the second largest boat registration in the United States, next to Florida. So we have more boats, and you're never more than 6 miles away from a body of water in Michigan, very similar to Ontario and Canada. I think, that it's limitless as to how much people can get involved in this. So I see junior tournaments, I see women's tournaments, I see, I see clubs popping up, and they could be women's clubs or kids clubs, or I see more and more people getting involved in a sport that we've already fallen in love with because it is so accessible. So participation, and hopefully safe participation, is how that proceeds. That's my opinion.
Well, that's great. I'd like to thank Jeff
You're welcome.
Sherwood from Summit Sports and his foreseeable prediction of the future. And great to have you, Jeff.
Thanks.
Thank you.